Hi, good evening. I'm Sohan Badall and this is my OMG interview. Okay, Sohan Badall. Who is Sohan? I'd say Sohan is made up of a wide variety of talent and capabilities. I've started off my teenage years as a makeup artist, which grew quite popular. I'm now one of Trinidad's leading stylists when it comes to bridal parties. I do pageant queens, makeup, hair, and styling. I launched a fashion line which is called So Chic Couture by Sohan in 2016, which was featured in Guyana Fashion Week shortly after. The latest project that I am working on at present is I've recently graduated from George Washington University as an internationally certified event manager. So I currently am working on a new company I launched which is called So Chic Event Management, which ties it back to my fashion line, trying to keep that identity and that logo there. One of the things that a lot of people in Trinidad will not know unless you follow soca, chutney soca, and that industry is that I am actually one of Trinidad's first and leading female impersonator to have performed locally and internationally as a female impersonator on stage such as Monarchs and other cultural events in Trinidad, Suriname, Guyana, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Guatemala, London, Canada. Soon to be performing in Caribana also again in 2019. So another thing that people would have only recently found out who would have followed me on social media is that I am also in the process of writing a book that I think is going to create some controversy in Trinidad because it is based on a topic or a society that people in Trinidad are very close to and are reminded to, and it's about growing up in a third world country, not fitting the norms of society or the box that society created for men or what a man should be. So you can look out for that book within the next 6 months to 8 months. And a foundation that I'm starting, which is called Living with Intentions, geared towards more motivation for youths who are facing the struggles I would have faced growing up, being bullied at school, labeled in society, and trying to find their way, helping them find their way and letting them know that no matter what society thinks, you are your own person and you can be successful. Okay, so we would dial back a bit to growing up. So from a kid, I would always know that I am not the typical man that you see walking down the street, in the sense of people label you a pretty boy or a sissy because you walk a bit effeminate. I always had long hair. And the pretty boy image would always carry you. So you'll find that going into primary school would have started to be a bit difficult with people calling you a sissy every day, Shirley, girly, laughing at you when you walk the corridor, and trying to find that courage to be in that environment every day because you know school is something important to you and you need to be there, but getting up and getting there is difficult because you know what you're going to face when you get there. Getting into secondary school is when it would have gotten a bit more brutal because at this age you are now dealing with teenagers who can be very harsh and doesn't think about people's feelings at that point. So I would have found myself many times having to stay literally to myself in a corner to avoid being taunted in the corridors, being called names, which then got a bit more let's just say the vocabulary evolved at that point, which is not even appropriate to use on camera. I think the wider public have an idea of some of the names I would have been called. Being walk along the corridor and having people standing above just waiting for you to pass so they could spit on you or spit in your face and things like that is what you had to deal with going to school just because you didn't fit that box that they created of what a man should look like and being this tough, ruggedy person in school. Okay, so one of the things that would have made me not conform to what society pictured for me or had in place for me, and one of the things that gave me courage was the fact that I've always been one to want to show people what I can do or who I can be. That's just always been my mentality. So it reached a point where I would have secluded myself to being by myself just to get through school. But during that period, what my schoolmates or people around me wouldn't have known is that I had a bigger plan. In my mind, I knew what I was looking for. So my intentions would have been to, someday at some point have these same kids that are now bullying me look up to me or even come back to me. And karma will have it that they have been coming back to me. I've had people who bullied me through school now hiring me to do their wife's makeup or hiring me as a female impersonator to perform at their wedding, the same person they bullied in school. I recently actually had an interaction with a schoolmate who made my life a living hell through school. Like, he would miss no opportunity to call me the nastiest names he got. And he contacted me one evening and put me on to his soon-to-be wife, who then conversed with me about, being her stylist for her wedding, and her husband, highly recommended me and loved my work and whatever. What I didn't know is that her husband to be is someone who made my life a living hell, of course, and I'm finding out this on the day of the wedding. So I'm at the wedding, finished dress the bride, helping her down the aisle, only to look up and realize that the groom is the same guy that made my life a living hell. One of the things is that people may have expected me to probably respond in a different manner and probably try to dish back some of the things that he would have dealt me with before. But, I think that in order to encourage change, you need to be the change that you want to see. So it's just because you treated me in the harshest of forms you could have found doesn't mean I now have to dish it back to you. So at that point, I just smiled. I did my job I was there for. At the end of the whole formalities before the reception, he came into the room, spoke to me, asked me if I remembered him, which of course I did, because it's a face you can't forget, or it's somebody you cannot forget. But at that point, he never offered an apology, that I was looking for one. But I left there making sure he remembered what he did in school and who I am now. One of the things he said to me was, "So you remember me, right?" So my response to that was like, it's kind of difficult to forget someone who made your life a living hell. I know when I respond like that, he would remember the things he did. But I left there making sure he knew who I am now, because during the course of that evening, I showcased to him my various talents that you would have criticized me for earlier is now the same ones you're hiring me for. It's now the same ones that are being beneficial to you on this day. So something that you couldn't understand back then is now beneficial to you. Okay, so yes, I'm feminine. Yes, I've been bullied, but I'm determined to use that into something positive for society and doing something positive for society. So I'm using my life story, my struggles of being a member of the LGBT society, as people call it. It's a label that I don't use often. I'll tell you why, because I don't believe in labels. I think everybody is human and everybody is unique in their own way. That's just how I look at it. However, I am determined to use my experience in life to benefit the younger generation that's coming up, because as of lately, I've realized that not just locally, there are a lot of cases locally that people don't know of because it's not something people in Trinidad deal with. But throughout the Caribbean, South Americas, and even in the States and Europe and so on, there are a lot of kids, teenagers, young adults that are now actually committing suicide and turning to drugs and all those different negative things just to help cope with the fact of what they deal with on a daily basis, which is being told that you are not acceptable or that you are not what God intended for society. And my aim is to show these youths that are struggling with that is that irregardless of what society thinks and irregardless of what religion teaches you, you are someone, you are worth a lot more than people tell you you're worth. It's up to you to show the country, the world, the society what your worth is. Self-worth is something only you can develop. And putting aside all the negativity you face or using those negativity as a stepping stone or motivation to get you to where you are to be or want to be is what you should concentrate on. Yes, I actually know a few people who are struggling with family issues because of being, belonging to the LGBT society. I've known people who, in fact, just recently, within the last 2 weeks ago, I've had a conversation with a mutual friend that was recently outed to a family or came out to family. Probably not because of a decision he made, but because of a decision or decisions he would have made leading up to that. And the alternative he was given by his mother literally is either you become straight or you leave the house. Now, this is something that was very mind-boggling for me, because how do you become straight? It's not like you wake up one morning and you decide you are not straight. It's not like you wake up one morning and you decide to be straight, because if that was the case, any one of you could wake up on any given day and decide, hey, I'm gay this morning. And then you could wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I'm straight again. That is not the case. And one thing that society says a lot that doesn't resonate with me is the fact that they use the word choice. Walking through society or being in society and hearing the term choice being used is something that doesn't resonate with me, because no one gets up in the morning and chooses to be someone who is consistently laughed at, bullied, discriminated against, or, cast aside from society. Nobody wants to be that on a daily basis. It's not something you choose to be. I think it's about time that people in general start to understand what living the life of an LGBT person entails, what it is, and what is being LGBT. Or, it's not something that you can treat as a disease. It's not a choice. It's literally, and it has been scientifically proven, it's just the way you were born. Not everyone is born the same way. One of the lines that are consistently thrown at me is that whole religious aspect of it. And I say to people, religion is man-made. It's a way of life, it's values, it's morals. The Bible, the Quran, and the Ramayana, all three were written by men. So are you telling me if you were created by God, God made a mistake with me? That's just something I'd like the world to think about, because God don't make mistakes, right? Okay, so one of the major problems that I realized that we are facing in Trinidad and Tobago is the fact that because we as a people doesn't accept the LGBT society or doesn't understand the LGBT society, we have then created a need for, or a lifestyle, or let's just say we have created different shades of gay in Trinidad and Tobago. And when I say different shades of gay, I'm speaking about those who feel the need to be on the down low. They are all macho, they have the gym body, they go about life even insulting other gays when they are themselves gay. But they have to fit into society because that's the only way they know how to survive. We have those that are forced by family to get married, because once you're married, it makes it okay in society. So you're married, you are now cheating on your wife with a man on the outside. You may have kids who are now growing up confused, because here it is, you're at home with a wife, but then as they get older, they may eventually find out, hey, he's also outside with a man. So it creates a lot of, let's just say, confusion also in society. And then we have, and then we have those that, let's just say that no matter what they do, they will not expose themselves for who they are. So they go about, again, pretending to be someone they are not. And we are just creating a society full of lies and hypocrisy as we grow by on a daily basis. I think, one of my philosophy in life is that to live life, you have to give life meaning. And the only way you can give life meaning is by living your truth. And living your truth should be the only option at the end of the day. I think the biggest lesson I've learned throughout all of this is what I would have stated earlier in my interview, is the fact that you are the only one in charge of showing the world you and your self-worth, and you are the only one that could determine how people will look at you in the long run. Yes, they may not look at you the way that you want to be perceived at present, but you are the one in charge of your journey. Okay, so my OMG moment in life would have been waking up one morning to a call from Guyana for Clash of the Titans and being invited to perform on the national stage of Guyana as a female impersonator. This would have been an OMG moment for me, because what people don't know is that Guyana is just as suppressed as Trinidad. They have never had a public performance of a female impersonator before. And that OMG moment actually grew into a bigger OMG moment, arriving in Guyana, getting dressed at your hotel and coming down to the lobby just to see one crowd, like a crowd of people just waiting to see who this gentleman is that's going to look like a woman tonight. Okay, so this is Sohan Badall, thanking everyone for viewing my OMG interview. I can be found on social media via Facebook as Sohan Badall, or on IG Sohan_bridal_stylist.